Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Eagles on Air through the Sportanarium stream, and we have Ben and Alex with myself chatting Palace as usual. How are we doing, gents?
Not too
Filled
bad.
with
Riveting after yesterday's performance, guys?
Trying to forget about that already, but we're not going to have to do that now, are we?
the passion that we're all showing is just it's rife, isn't it?
Completely mirror of Twitter as well.
Yes. What are we going to talk about first then, Ben? What do you reckon?
Well, I put a tweet out saying that if you don't have mental issues already, you will have watching Palace.
I think we all have. It's just, I don't know. It's just hard, isn't it? I mean, things are hard enough as it is without Palace and the way they're blooming playing. It's desperate.
You're thinking they'd try and make it easier for us, wouldn't they? But no.
I'm thinking about messaging the FA and asking them to cancel the football, to be honest.
All us Palace fans.
Right, let's start with the performance then. Or lack of.
What was that then, Ben? I never saw any.
Yeah. I feel like we're doing a rewind of the last couple of weeks. No passion, no direction. I don't know what we're doing. It just seems like I feel like if I went down the park and got 11 people together, they could do a better performance, to be honest.
I'm just really finding it hard to say anything that's not negative, but I just felt that when we had that 5-game stretch where we had obviously Newcastle, Leeds, we got Brighton, Burnley, and Fulham. I just thought prime opportunity to really, really push on. Prime opportunity to. I mean, I'm not saying that we could have won all 5. Different attitude, different passion, different tempos to those games that we've lost so far to the likes of Leeds and Burnley. We haven't even given ourselves a chance. We've had 180 minutes of football across 2 games where we've conceded 5 goals, and I've not seen one player try. I'm just taken aback by it. I don't get it. I really don't.
I think we're waiting to lose, to be honest. When we go out on the field, it's just a matter of time. The mentality's all wrong. I don't think Burnley. What other teams have Burnley beat this season? 3-0.
They scored 5 goals away prior to that game. I mean, it just says it all. I mean, and I know we had a chat off air just now, but people like Digachoy and Ambrose and ex-players, Andy Gray and stuff like that, who I get on well with and speak to a fair bit on Twitter. I mean, you back in those days, those squads, those teams, you would never ever see, even though we were in a lot of different position and we were fighting for our lives in some cases. Obviously not in Andy Gray's day. We had a brilliant team, but you would never ever see a player or collection of players in the red and blue playing with that lack of drive, that lack of passion, no tempo, no desire. It's incredible. I just personally don't feel that Hodgson can inspire any single one member of that team. And what is the guy saying at half time every game that we're practically 1, 2, 3-0 down sometimes? I don't know what he's saying to get those players to say, hang on a second, this ain't good enough. Although saying that, I did notice, I don't know if any of you guys saw it, someone posted a video of Gyro. He had the ball and he slammed it into the ground at the end or something.
Yeah.
So you could tell that he was absolutely raging about it, and the passion that he was showing at that point, you could clearly see that he was very disappointed. But why is it one player showing that at the end of the game and not the collection doing it throughout the game? I just can't get my head around it, boys.
We obviously can't see behind the scenes and that sort of stuff, but you can see there's a few players out there that actually did give a shit. And I saw that clip as well, what he's mentioning, Steve. But it just comes down to I don't think we have a captain. A captain to drive players, no. Luca mentioning, obviously. If we had a captain like we did back in the day when, 14, 15 season with Delaney, it was backing players. It was hyping fellow teammates. You don't get that from Luca, do you?
Well, I
Gentlemen.
don't know. I don't know if you boys ever look at games when something
Sorry,
happens or
Delaney as well.
some contentious sort of foul or like someone gets taken out or you don't get to see. I distinctly remember players like Delaney, players like
Isn't
Jedinak
Yeah.
and those people that were captains, they were in the ref's ear.
Yeah.
They were like straight at them. They were like immediately trying to push for some kind of not element of favoritism, but some kind of element of
reaction,
an aspect going towards Palace. And we used to get a lot of decisions go our way because of it.
Yeah.
I don't see Luca ever do it. I mean, the guy doesn't talk, he doesn't shout, he's not passionate, he's got no drive, he's not in the ref's face. The only time he sort of does anything is when he picks up a bloody yellow card every game practically. And the only solace that we've got as fans is where he's so poor, he gets those 5 yellows, he gets a ban. But I mean, I don't want to do him an injustice. In the first season he came, it looked like he could be a really good player. And I remember at the end of the season, AC Milan was sniffing around him. But since then, it's just nosedived in ability, desire. And the main problem, boys, that we've got is if he has a stinker, the man knows he's in the team sheet, first name pretty much.
Regardless of the forms, The thing is, all the time you don't have competition for places, you're gonna be like, do you know what? I can chuck on 90% of my effort. I'm still gonna be in the first 11 every single time. All the time you don't have competition, that's what always gonna happen. But as soon as you've got someone that's sniffing around your position, like Mitchell with PVA, then all of a sudden there's talk of Mitchell getting in. PVA, you see him have 1 out of every 15 games. He does amazing.
Well, I mean,
the squad depth down to it as well.
You missed this. You missed this aspect last week, Ben, when we were talking with Chris from Leeds, and we were talking about what we thought the lineup would be. And both me and Al said, "I bet you PVA is on left wing."
Yeah.
And take away the defensive aspect from PVA and the mistakes he makes, and he does try. He does engage with the fans a lot. Yes, he makes mistakes, but he's a different player on the wing. Him going forward is a danger, and we should be utilising him more and putting Wilf on the right, perhaps, because right now, I don't know if you've noticed it, there's no real trust in Townsend. He's only getting bit part appearances now at the moment. He's hardly starting.
Well, I tweeted PVA and I said, I don't know why you got subbed because I thought you had a good game when he played on the wing. And Townsend came on. I think one of his first passes, he pretty much played someone in, and they should have scored. That was like one of our best attacks of the whole game. And it's like, right, you're off. You're not going backwards. You're not going sideways. You can get off.
Well, I've always said this. PVA on the wing, when he goes forward, when he's driving with the ball, half the time he's pretty much unplayable, and he gets in good positions. He's got a great left foot. He can whip it in. And, more than often, he causes problems. Obviously, tracking back and trying to recover the situation seems to be a bit of a different element, sadly. But, that ability's kind of gone back a bit.
When he played on that wing, though, I thought he covered better and he was more on the left side than he ever was when he was left back. When he was called to come back again, I thought he did pretty well in the... it must have been a Leeds game before he got taken off. I thought his covering was pretty good. I still couldn't really get my head around why he got taken off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one. I mean, we've seen it so often this season. We've seen players that have been performing really, really well in a game, and Hodgson takes them off for no real apparent reason. I don't get it. I don't.
Too late. It makes a sub too. If you're going to make a sub, he makes the wrong sub at the wrong time. That's basically what he does every single game. Like we went 3-0 down, 47th minute. We wait until the 67th minute to bring on our first sub. Come on,
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
the thing is, the hard part with that, Al, and you've nailed it there, is if after 47 minutes, immediately after half time, you concede, I mean, let's
Yeah.
not take anything away from Burnley. That was a fabulous goal, that third one.
yeah.
And it didn't get the respect and the mentions it deserved. It was a top draw goal. But forget that for a second. At 47 minutes, we're 3-0 down, we're at home. We haven't registered a shot on target. We've registered a couple of shots, but nothing on target at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to stand there as a manager and say, hang on, I'm in the wrong here.
Yeah.
These tactics are wrong. It's not worked today. We're 3-0 down against a team that should be effectively one that we should be aiming for 3 points. And that's no disrespect meant to Burnley. They played us off the park. But it should be us trying to do that to them, not the other way round.
We got done by a proper job that we would do to other teams, like you mentioned. But it just shows that, I don't know if you see that clip of Hodgson on the touchline yesterday, turning around to Dean Kelty, looking at him,
saw that.
and he's like, mate, that's body language 101. It looks like he doesn't have the backing of his players. Almost his side sort of assistants and stuff like that probably have no confidence in him and just riding out until the rest of the season.
Well, I don't know about you guys. I'm sick and tired of hearing we're not playing the best of our ability and we played better in the second half. We played better because we're getting whooped and they don't need to do anything. They can sit back. If that was 0-0 that game, them last 10 minutes wouldn't have been us putting pressure on. No. We wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, Ben. So
advantages, and they just sit back and think, do you know what? What are you going to do, Palace? We're 3-0 up. Come on, have a go.
If you're a manager of a Premier League football team and you're looking at your squad, it's aging. You don't feel you've got any choices. You don't feel you've got any options on the bench. What you should be doing is you should be saying, hang on a second.
Under 23s.
This squad isn't looking right for me. This squad isn't channeling what I'm trying to get them to do.
Yeah.
And this squad isn't performing. So let's just show a few of these personalities that you're not in the team. You're going to have to earn your place back. And like you said just there, Al, the under 23s, you pull in 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. Because I'll tell you now, regardless of what the apparent ability of these players is, and yes, they've gone out on loan to League One and League Two clubs and they've not performed like we thought they would. Well, Mitchell went out on loan. Wan-Bissaka, we pulled him in. But apparently, because they're under 23 players, they haven't got the ability. But look at what they've both done. So these guys would come in and they would show passion, desire. They would want to prove a point effectively.
There wouldn't be no disadvantage in doing that. That's going to boost the regarding 11 that gets in 11 every single time. They're going to think, fuck, we got to step our game up. We got someone that's in under 23s looking to step on our toes. We got to sort it out. And anyone that plays the under 23s that doesn't normally get a sniff in, seeing 2 fellow teammates getting pushed through to the first team, that's going to hype them up. It's going to be nothing but great things if you just look at the under 23s. But he should, rather than have his sort of, I don't know, his hand forced for him, have that incline and have that inspiration. Think, do you know what? Let's just chuck on Mitchell, chuck in, who else we got in there? Pierrick. What happened to him?
If it is his last season, why is he not?
Oh, sorry, go on, Ben.
No, I'm just saying, if it's his last season of managing football, then what's going on? Why is to be fair to him, I do feel like he's trying to roll the dice, but he just doesn't know how to. If it's outside of a 4-4-2, he ain't got a clue.
But the thing is, with that, you got the 4 at the back. Mitchell all day long should be starting.
Oh, yeah.
He looks quality, and not being funny. Arsenal have had an indifferent season, but the likes of Arsenal wouldn't be sniffing around Mitchell if he wasn't any good. Clearly he is, and his stats prove that. But then equally, what I get really annoyed with Hodgson, not so much the fact to me he's got no abilities. He keeps lauding up these players in the under 23s. So Dreyer, he's often mentioned how good he is. He's mentioned how good Banks is. the kid that we got from Dundee United. He's mentioned several other players, but what's the point in mentioning them if you regard them that highly? Then surely it warrants just giving them a go.
Yeah.
And if the people like Dan and Sacco, who's just a waste of space because he's always injured, and people like Cahill have kind of dropped again another level, which is sad for him, but age is clearly caught up. Just put the kid in. It's the perfect opportunity for him to cement a place and show that he's worthy of it.
He's going to be buzzing to begin in there, and he's only going to do great things.
Yeah, but it doesn't help that we keep mixing the centre backs up like every week. How are they supposed to build some sort of partnership? All right, you can argue with injuries, but you take Coyote, you put him back in again. You take Cahill, you pull him out, you put him in. It's like they're doing the okey dokey. Like, what is our best back four?
I mean, for me, is Tompkins is the best defender we got, given the fact that he's the youngest one as well, and even he's like 29 or 30. Dan is finished.
Yeah,
and he's given us a great service. I don't want to badmouth the guy. He's been quality last season. You know, he was specifically good for us, but it's that John Terry effect. John Terry was up there, and then all of a sudden he was down there, and no one noticed.
Yeah, until it's too late.
Until it was too late, and we've got Gary Cahill who came to us and was still there.
Yeah,
but now he's there, and he ain't good enough anymore. Yeah. And Scott Dan has just completely lost any pace he had. I mean, he didn't have a large amount of pace.
I think if you have Klein in there with Cahill, you got two very experienced winners. I just think they need someone else with them that's got some stability. I just don't think there's any trust in that back four. Well, you look at Burnley's first goal, you can tell there's no trust. You got two clowns running for the same ball, nearly knocking each other over.
Well, there's no communication, is there? And I mean, if you look at it, when we had Damo as captain, you know, that worked perfectly for us at the back. There was that constant voice, and prior to that, Jedinak. But you know, you've got no one giving any kind of direction or any commands to the guys, and they're aimlessly playing all over the shop. They haven't got a clue. But a lot of that has to go down to Hodgson, and the blame has to lie with him, because it don't matter what the situation is behind the scenes, the lack of funds, the lack of transfers, all of that stuff. That's just a fact that we can't get round. What goes on that pitch is down to Hodgson. He is responsible for what happens on that pitch and what tactics, formation, and players that he chooses.
Yeah.
What about Martin Kelly? What's Martin Kelly got to do getting this team?
Hell knows, mate. I think
he's Mr. Reliable.
He's always reliable. Yeah, he's never let us down.
We're playing rubbish at the minute. What we got loose?
Yeah.
Kelly
with Tompkins when he debuted too.
Something needs to change, and it needs to change drastically. Either he's got to swallow his pride and start playing players in the proper positions, because everyone got excited about Benteke and Batshuayi up front, and it's not happening. It's not working.
Yeah, but the thing with that is, and we've had this conversation on several of our shows so far, I still maintain, even after 4 seasons, I still maintain that Hodgson does not understand his players. Allardyce understood the strengths and weaknesses of each one of our players, and he understood that Benteke wasn't the type of player to drop and run around and chase and stuff. What he understood was stay on the last man. Good old-fashioned striker. Stick on the last man. We'll get the crosses in, and bang, you'll knock the goals in. And it's not rocket science. He scored 17 goals because of it. Now, when he does play Benteke, he's like, right, mate, you've got to hold it up. Yeah. You've got to drop deep. You've got to flick it on. But the problem is no one's backing him up, because no one's got a clue what's going on. So when he does flick it on, there's no one there. When it should be him that's there.
You'd think that'd be... remember when Shamak used to do that for us?
Yeah.
Everyone would automatically, subconsciously be running past him, expecting him to get it. And he got it every single time. But with Benteke, it used to happen early on, but you find now and again with too far forward.
Well, that's the thing, Al. You know, what you've got is a manager that is asking a player to drop 25 yards deep,
Yeah,
to hold it up, and effectively all he's doing is rendering Benteke useless for
Yeah.
us, and he's taken away that threat. That's why he's not been scoring. That's why his confidence is rock bottom. Yeah, he's got that little patch where he got 3 goals, and that helped him massively. And then all of a sudden he couldn't get in the side again. But if you're going to play Benteke and Batshuayi together, they need to stick close.
yeah,
They need to be in the box,
Yeah.
and the crosses
Hey,
just simply have to come in.
yeah. And just the thing is, I think some of our players, when we do feel that we do get that need of support to go forward, the players that need to go forward are not there. They're too far back because we get in nosebleeds every time we go past the halfway line.
Did you notice in the Burnley game, a lot of them were dropping past the halfway line to pick the ball up? I think you did it. I was pretty sure I saw Batshuayi doing it. I was just like, you're rendering your midfield useless.
Well, that's the thing, and Hodgson wants that defensive mentality to track back, which is fine. I respect that if that's what he wants people to do, but it shouldn't be the default disposition of each player to have to get back when, if you're taking the top 4 to come back, that top 4 is nowhere near where they should be to cause any problems to opposing teams, and that's why we've been railroaded 3-0 by Burnley, and the scoreline should have been significantly more against Leeds. And it's games like that you've got to be winning or looking to win. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but we're an established Premier League team, and we're playing like we're bottom 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, honestly, if the bottom 3 teams weren't so bad, and it's a blessing, we'd be in deep trouble.
Just as well.
100%. And unfortunately, Parish and the leadership team and the owners have got a lot to answer for from that perspective, because it's that continued complacent attitude, the Sunderland, the Stoke effect.
Yeah.
We'll be all right. We don't need to invest. We don't need to get players. We don't need to bring players in.
No.
You know, it flabbergasts me at times, because it's like it's now caught up on us, and all of a sudden we've now got like 12 players we've got to replace.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's almost like a reaction that you think it happened. You think this has never happened before since we've been in the Premier. It has. You think every single time you've got to address it when it needs addressing, rather than have that knee-jerk reaction when it's too late. And by that time, it will be too late. Obviously, you've got to look at life without Wilf. That's going to happen.
I don't know what. I don't know what it is. When Wilf played the last game, I don't think he was involved in any of the goals when we were playing well. And as soon as he's off the pitch, it's like none of them can play football.
Yeah.
Even when we start counter-attacking teams, we seem to get the ball, and it's like, hold on, there's not enough of them behind the ball. Let's hold it up and go backwards. All right, now they're all behind the ball. Let's go forward again. So what is going on?
But dare I say it, boys? Dare I say it? Games against Leeds and Burnley would have been a prime opportunity for Maya to have played. Because at least he
wouldn't have played him, though, would he?
At least, yeah, he probably wouldn't have played him, but at least you would have had an outlet to back up Eze. Because the problem is we've got that single player mentality. Everything goes through Wilf. When Wilf and Eze play together, and they have done obviously very effectively in some games, that's great. But we've got that single player reliance mentality.
And that's how everyone sets up against us.
And we've done it again against Burnley. We've got no Wilf. It's got to all go for Eze.
Just go at them. We've got nothing to lose. Every single team that's going to come up against us. Look what I can't even imagine what's going to happen with Brighton. They're going to be watching that Burnley game thinking, do you know what? All we've got to do is go at Palace. They've got no Wilf.
But the thing is, Brighton's football, the way that Brighton plays, fantastic to watch. They just haven't got someone to finish it at the end. If they had someone to finish it in, they'll probably be a lot higher up the table and above us. Right. And I think this season, they will finish above us for the first time. And I think they're going to smash us when we play them, because we ain't got a clue. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what our aims are.
There's no spark.
Place an attitude. And, you know, if Wilf's still injured, we've got no outlet.
And the thing is, the effectiveness is no longer there, because all the time we don't have Wilf there. We look to Eze, obviously, the next one to kind of back our attacking. But it just looked like they've got no idea out there. I was like, almost every single time they got the ball, like, what do we do? Damn, okay, what do we do? What you can't afford. You can't afford that.
I'll go out on a limb and say we ain't going to win no more games till Wilf comes back.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's proven, isn't it? 19 games without Wilf, and we've won 17. We've lost 17 of them and drawn 1, I think.
Yeah, but it's goals conceded and goals scored. It's even worse than that, I think, isn't it?
We have got a really poor defence, and it's easy for teams to play against us. Well, to be honest, we're better off playing 5 across the back, in my opinion, because at least you can play more of an approach of getting it forward quicker when you do get the ball, rather than fall straight at the back and come at us.
Yeah, and if we do get caught out of position, you've got that 1 or 2 extra players overlapping to cover.
At the minute, they just look like a team that don't even play with each other. They don't train together. It's like, I think I put a tweet out. Do we even train? Oh, it was comical. Some of the stuff against Burnley, I think Scott Dan, some guy just sat him on his arse, but he was so far up the pitch.
Yeah, he slipped, didn't he? Yeah. The thing is, a lot of the players do think they have more time on the ball than they actually do have. There was numerous times where I saw Luca yesterday, to mention, and Dan, where we kind of just dwindled on the ball and think, oh God, we lost possession. Now we're effed.
It just doesn't seem like we have a game plan. Like, honestly, I watched that game in the hope that we were going to do something, and I finished watching it, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't watch another game. I was so annoyed and angry. I was just like, I don't know how much more of this I can really watch.
The worst thing for me, and it's been right across this season, even more apparent, is players that used to get the ball and run at players. So when Townsend used to get the ball, he'd run at players. Wilf would run at players every single time without fail. Ayew would run at players. Now, it just seems to be so many times these guys get the ball given to them. They don't even look forward. They don't even look at what's ahead of them. They just literally turn around and pass it back. And it's like, how do you possibly think as a manager and as a team that you have the ability and the opportunity to win games by kicking it all the way back? There's no good back down there. You're putting yourself under pressure again. You should be looking at what can we do to go forward with this ball.
If we're going to be a defensive team, which we're not, you still got to create something. We don't create, and we leak goals. So there's your answer, really.
And apparently, Hodgson's a defensive-minded manager.
The irony, if we'd have won yesterday, or if we'd won against Leeds as well, is we would have had the most points at this stage of the season, and it just all we keep doing as a team is giving Hodgson the opportunity to look good, and he just isn't. He simply isn't.
It's almost like I feel with every win we're just papering over the crap.
Yep, exactly.
The frightening thing is, and I don't know if you've seen it or seen them, the number of tweets still defending Hodgson. It baffles me.
Was it the usual suspects? No names mentioned, but yeah.
I called someone out after the Burnley game, and I said, "Are you still Roy in?" I thought he's going to bite at this, and he's like, "I've never said I'm Roy in." And then I showed him a tweet that he sent, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that was just a joke, man."
Yeah, of course.
How did you get Parrish to reply to you?
I didn't. Did he reply to me?
you tweeted him saying, "Are you still Roy in?"
Classic. Classic.
On a serious note, if he doesn't go for that, I don't think he's going at all. Yeah. I think he's here for the. I think even if we lose to Fulham, which I can see happening, I don't think he'll go.
We could have lost by 5 goals yesterday. His job was still been safe.
But that's the thing I don't get. It's like you could see Parrish. I don't know if you saw it. There was a picture of Parrish, and he looked so glum with what he was seeing. But
he's looking down, right? Yeah.
Surely Parrish can sort of sit there and see how poor it is and the situation. I don't even know why it's not even in his mindset to do something, because at any other club with this form, they would get sacked.
Down to money, no? It's got to be. That's the only thing I can think of. It can't be anything else.
I reckon it was that mask, mate, cutting off the oxygen to his brain. It was a big mask.
Yeah, the oxygen levels were at an all-time catastrophe.
Oh, I saw it and I thought there's some kid outside the ground crying his eyes off because he's lost his mask.
Are you boys, like, just going off piece slightly, made me laugh. Have you seen the video of that young kid going absolutely mental?
The glasses. With the glasses.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
The thing is, as a fan base, we're going to get absolutely blasted for that.
We are, but then if you look at it from a different point of view, you got a 15-year-old kid or whatever, he's 14, 15-year-old kid.
Right? Yeah, I get it. He's passionate. Yeah.
Showing unreal passion about the red and blue. And for that, take my hat off to him.
And the thing is, that's credit when credit's due. To be honest, he's ranting and he's obviously putting his face out there, not even thinking about what's going to have any repercussions, but he's so angry. Like, how we're all feeling. Don't get me wrong, we're all feeling the same. But he's, to put it out there, that's credit to credit's due. But
I swear to God, I found his YouTube channel. One of his videos was Lose Your Virginity or something along those lines, mate. I was crying.
Oh, God. It's jokes when you look at it, but whenever anything's going to mention again, it's just going to be what we've, and also Kieran Moore as well. But
Right.
As a performance and positioning thereof.
I just think Eze, I mean, it's a hard one. When he played against Leeds, we beat them 4-1. When he played against Sheffield United, we beat them 2-0.
Yeah.
Those two games, they really stick out like a sore thumb for me in respect that it was, go on, mate, free rein, off you go, stick behind the front two in that area, just run with the ball, do what you do. And the difference in terms of what he did as an output versus the difference when Hodgson, and I know we want to speak about this a little bit in terms of other players as well as him, but the difference with forcing him or trying to force him to play in a position, a role that isn't him, isn't his game, isn't his style. It's just astronomical, that difference. And the output is goals. You know, that free kick against Leeds was superb. The goal against Sheffield United was, for me, goal of the month, in my opinion. And that's what you want him to do. There's no point in getting players, and we've just spoken about Benteke for the same reasons. There's no point getting players to do something that's out of their comfort zone, doesn't suit their play, and just takes them out of the game. Because they are, they are and need to be one of the key threats. And what you're doing is you're not making them a threat at all. And unfortunately, against Burnley and against Leeds,
I didn't think he was
done exactly what he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
What was it? I saw a video. Who was doing the commentating? Redknapp. And he's like, Batshuayi is going off. And he's like, I didn't even realise he was playing.
Oh, yeah. Better warm up, you're coming off.
Yeah, but again, with Batshuayi, if you look at that, what does Batshuayi do? He scores goals. Not for us, because we are trying so hard to push him down paths that he shouldn't be going down. When he plays for Belgium,
he does it.
What's his name? What's the manager of Belgium? Robert.
Lewandowski.
Ex-Everton manager.
Ex-Everton manager. What's his name?
Martinez. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
If you notice what he does with Benteke when he plays him and Batshuayi, it's Batshuayi, you're a fox in the box. Stay there.
Yeah, and you play
look along the line. Make sure you're right.
Yeah.
With Benteke's, stay on the last man, and bang, he scores goals for Belgium. What we're saying to Benteke's dropped 25 yards deep, so we just make that pointless. What we're saying to Batshuayi is that you need to run across the field like that and show work rate.
Yeah.
But he ain't in the box when the ball does go in. So again, complete waste of time. Everything that we do with every one of our players is a complete waste of time as it stands.
Why is it?
Is this the reason that we can't create chances?
We just don't play to their strengths. Why is it so difficult to do that?
Well, look at when we had Allardyce. We had Balassi, we had Townsend, we had Zaha. When you get the ball, The first thing that you need to do with that ball is cross it in.
Yeah.
Benteke, last man, bang, goal scored.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
simple football.
Let's start crossing in when we don't have him on the pitch.
When we get the ball now, other than Eze, every single player, every single time, without fail, cannot beat the first man, cannot beat the wall on a free kick. You've got people like Luca that will selfishly take away the free kicks from someone like Eze and smash it into the wall or over time and time and time again. As a manager, simple little things like that, Hodgson should be able to see and recognise.
Yeah, Eze on corners and free kicks. How difficult can that be?
It's just not hard, but for some reason it just appears to be so difficult.
Right, goes to show the Leeds game. He scored from that free kick, and he assisted Dan's goal. Did he not from that corner?
Yeah.
And you get Luca back on free kick and corner duty. Come on, that's just basic.
I'll tell you what, the corners against Burnley were a disgrace. Or every single
I don't remember, and I might be wrong.
I think one of them
genuinely don't remember one occasion that Luca has taken a corner with and a free kick. He's made the keeper work, or he's beat the first man from a corner, and I don't understand that. A professional player should easily be able to do that.
I'm not trying to correct you, Steve, but the last time he actually done anything with a free kick in a corner was just after during lockdown when he came back at the Bournemouth game.
That was last season, wasn't it?
So yeah, the first lockdown, wasn't it? That's ridiculous.
So what I'm saying, this season, I can't remember
that's what I'm trying to say.
Beating the first man on the corner or causing a problem or making the keeper save from a free kick.
Yeah, I only added that to
beat his old boy.
I only added that to back your argument, Steve. So yeah, that's ridiculous. So that amount of time, Bournemouth. Wow.
Whatever happens in our club, we need to have a captain that controls the team and talks to the team and runs the team, because at the minute we're missing that so much, and we need to get players in that have passion, that have drive. There was a video on Twitter someone put up and went, "What's happened to this team?" And honestly, there was about 5 players running back, and someone was about to shoot, and they all dived on the line. And you just don't see that anymore.
Yeah. Putting a life body on the line, and I can't remember what game that was, but it was just 3 players running straight across to block it out.
And it's just like, where's this passion gone? Is it?
I don't mean to bring this up or call people out, but maybe it's just me. But I feel Kuate kind of dodged that first goal.
Yeah, I heard that he got out of the way. I didn't really watch it, but I said before on here that I don't rate him as a centre back. As a CDM, I think he's good. He makes fouls when he has to, but he's not a centre back. I don't care if he plays for his national team as centre back. For me, he's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to play your best players, and unfortunately, Roy doesn't know what his best players are. That's why we get this Mickey Mouse every week, where it's just like, oh, John's playing today.
But realistically, Ben, have we got any real quality in our side right now, other than Wilf, which everything centres on, and Eze? Gator is in really poor form, and I think Butland deserves a go, if I'm being honest. Klein's been solid. Mitchell's been solid, but other than that, MacArthur, he's been
Gyro.
Good. Obviously been injured, Gyro, but aside of that, you're talking 5 or 6 players that have been up and down with their form, but solid and decent overall. And Wilf will have a brilliant game, one game, and then he'll disappear for 1 or 2 games. But as a collective, the team has been dreadful. I mean, one player that we can all focus on, where it's worlds apart, especially is Ayew. Last season to this season, wow, what a difference!
Different player.
If I was to put the Burnley team sheet down and put the Palace team sheet down and go, which team do you want? What would you pick?
Well, down on paper, you know what that would be. But we're not fulfilling our abilities. We're not actually fulfilling our potential.
I don't think we're filling.
It's down to confidence. It's got to be. You can't feel anything else.
We're not filling half of it because we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
I really don't understand it. It's like, it's a bit like, if you don't want to play, then don't play. Don't put me through that misery. Just get off the pitch. Sometimes I wish someone get the ump and walk off the pitch and just be like, do you know what, you lot, I can't be bothered with this. Because at least it'll show a bit of pride and passion.
I think they do that while still standing on the pitch.
But players are just like watching though.
Yeah.
That third goal was fabulous for Burnley.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got a lot of respect for that as a goal. However, look at who scored it, Matt Loughton.
When's the last time he scored?
Yeah, and secondly, the fact that everyone was literally just watching. No one moved, no one did anything, no one reacted. They just like, oh, that's good, oh, that's good, and bang, it was in the net.
Yeah, too late.
Way too late. And as we said, at 47 minutes, you're 3-0 down, you're at home. And for the rest of the game, aside of a couple of substitutions, you still stick with the same tactic that clearly hasn't worked, and you're 3-0 down because of it.
I think Sean Dyche went to sleep in the second half on the bench. Any team that sees they've got us must think, oh, this is going to be a walkover. If I was Fulham, I'd be rubbing their hands, absolutely loving it. I don't see what we bring anymore. We used to be one of the best counter-attacking teams in the league, and that's gone out the window. And now it's just nothing.
Well, I mean,
Hodgson, no one else.
You know, we look at Fulham. I mean, Fulham have the full time's just gone. They've beaten Everton 2-0. Marja has scored 2 goals. Marja, ex-Palace as well, who we let go. And it just goes to show that it doesn't matter who we have as a manager. There is literally no trust in youth, and that player could be ours still.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have done that at Palace because he's still been under 23s.
Yeah, but look at the way we treated Bamford. Oh, Bamford, he's crap. And then how many double figures is he for Leeds? Oh yeah, see you later, mate.
He's on 11 goals, isn't
he? Is that just a coincidence, or are we just poor?
I think recruitment-wise, infrastructure-wise, it needs a massive overhaul. But I mean, don't get me wrong, Parish loves the club. He loves Palace, and you know there's a lot to be said about that. However, you don't have the money to match the ambitions that we have as fans. Yeah. And unfortunately, what he did to Simon Jordan, he had done to him by the Americans, and we're stuck with him, and we can't get rid of him. And COVID's going to just prolong that even more, because I just don't think that they're going to regress on the control of the club and sell it up to someone that could take us forward. Sadly,
I was thinking about this today though. Surely, when you go into this some sort of agreement with a partner, it's like you have to spend X amount, or you're putting X amount into the club, and you get it all written down. Because Parish, to me, doesn't seem like a stupid person, and now he just seems to be caught with his trousers down. I just
got to do something before it's too late. The thing is, the way I see what Parish is doing, he's trying to save himself money by not trying to sack his boy Roy.
Yeah, but the problem with that, Al, is that there's no good not sacking someone, because at the end of the day, what happens if we go down? You've got even less money.
Yeah, but
what are you going to do then?
What I'm looking at, I think Roy, he knows Roy will call over the line with Roy this season. Get to the end of the season, we'll be calling over the line. Let's just kind of bank on that's going to be a given, and then think about manager recruitment in the summer.
It'd be different if he came out and said, well, I suppose you can't come out and say, I can't get another manager to come in yet. Yeah. But if that was the case, everyone would back off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Just give us something, even if it's cryptic. No?
Well, I mean, if you look at we've got 14 games left. So let's go through those games. So next up is Brighton.
Loss.
That's a loss. Fulham, we might get a win there or a draw, but
beating Everton 2-0.
They've just beaten Everton, so they'll be on a high.
Yeah.
We've then got Spurs.
Yep, keep going.
We've then got West Brom at home again.
Probably a
Just got a draw, didn't they, with Man United?
Yep.
Oh, that's
We've
got, how many hours is that? 4 in a row?
We've then got Everton.
Oh, God. Yeah. Does it get better?
Yes.
We've then got Chelsea,
Should have said anything.
Southampton, and then we've got Leicester and then Man City. There's no way we're getting anything out of them.
I can't see us getting any points for the next 10 games after that.
Sheffield United and then Villa. And then our final 2 games are Arsenal and Liverpool.
Wow. We're going to be crawling across that line if we do get anything. I reckon I'll still say at 34, 35, but we're still...
Oh, I can't. Until Wilf's back, we are playing so poor.
But even when we have got Wilf, that's the thing. Even when we are playing with Wilf, the problem that we've got is that we're either great or we're horrific because too much focus is through him. So if he's not on the boil, we don't really get a lot of output. That's your problem.
But I feel like sometimes he's like the manager. When he plays, everyone's like, oh, yeah, we're up for this. As soon as he don't play, it's like your boss isn't there. When your boss is not at work, everyone's like, no, we'll do what we want. Boss ain't there. Do you know what I mean?
Pretty much. That's a good anecdote, yeah.
I don't know. I feel sorry for Roy in a way. I know a lot of responsibility lands at his doorstep, but them players are bloody hell. They're picking him up and they are throwing him over that bus and driving it over because they just don't look like they want to be there.
The thing is, I think he's lost that dressing room, regardless of what anyone else says. Honestly, I think I said it about 3 months ago.
So someone put a tweet out and said, this is almost as bad as the Swansea game under Pardew. So I tweeted back and put, under Pardew, we scored goals.
Yeah, we score 4 in that game.
I mean, I know Pardew kind of faded away towards the end, and that's what resulted in him. But at least he went for games. At least he had us going for it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like we come out of a game and go, cool, we're unlucky there. We come out of a game and go, cool, we're unlucky. The scoreline was a lot worse than that.
Yeah. Cricket score almost. We're expecting cricket score. Imagine when we do play the likes of Chelsea again, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Even against, you look at the Burnley, Leeds and West Ham game, all those score lines flatter us.
Oh, yeah, massively. West Ham absolutely overrun us. And, I know the West Ham fans are sort of begrudge the ownership and whatnot. And, that aside, their recruitment's been fantastic. Aston Villa's recruitment has been fantastic. You've seen them rise up. Everton under Ancelotti's been brilliant. Yeah, they've had a few blips. Again, another one today. So their fan base won't be happy. But everyone else seems to be progressing other than us. It's just we have this kind of thing where it's like we will survive. It's implanted into our heads as a club, and the ownership of that club sit there and think, well, it's a given, and nothing is a given.
Come on,
and we act like it is.
I can't believe we're all saying this, but come on, we're going into our 9th consecutive season in the Premier League, and we're still having that mindset of thinking, oh, let's try not be dragged in relegation battle. Come on, wow, are we actually still thinking that is what we've got? We're not pushing. We're not pushing.
Do you know what? I'd love to get.
I've said this all along as well. I've said this all along. So when we start the season, what's your philosophy? It shouldn't be, right, guys, what we need to do is we need to aim for survival.
Yeah, let's aim for higher than 15th.
when you push that upon on a team and you're trying to impress the team with that mindset, all they're thinking is, we need to survive. What you should be saying is, it's like in sales when you're trying to sell something and you've got your KPIs and stuff. If you're told that you need 10 in a month, as a manager, as a leader, you've got to flex in terms of that approach. Say, right, guys, we're looking for 20 this month.
Yeah.
Because what it does is it gets those little inches out of people.
It sets you up for non-failure.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, if you don't get to that, fair
Yeah.
enough, you don't get to that. But ultimately, if you're getting people to push above themselves and beyond themselves, the differences can be massive. Not, oh, guys, we just need to survive, because all you're doing is playing with that mentality. And unfortunately, it's like, well, we just need to get enough points to survive, and then we're okay. And that's not good enough.
It's like saying when if you're at the gym and you want to do a rep of 10, don't try and say 8, aim for 12. And if you do it 10, it's a given. It's a bonus.
And that's the thing, like, you know, after one season or two seasons in the league, fair enough, perhaps you might have that you might be thinking, oh, it's going to be tough. You know, I mean, look at Sheffield United struggling with their second season syndrome. But, you know, we're talking about a club that is now 8 seasons into the Premier League, and there's been literally no progression whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it.
Imagine if we didn't
know what.
Imagine.
I'd love to know what Simon Jordan would say. I'd love to know his thoughts. Did you hear that guy on TalkSport talking about Palace? He was talking about reality TV. He sits down with his missus. He puts on reality TV and he sits there and he watches it and he goes, "What the hell am I watching this for? This is rubbish." And then his next comment is, "I wonder if that's how Palace fans feel at the minute." And he's spot on. You sit there, you watch the game and you think, what am I doing?
Watching it for the sake of watching it, aren't we?
We're
watching it now, like we're not trying to, like, we're thinking, do you know what? It can't be that bad. We're not going to be as bad as last week. Thinking, come on, we can't do that twice back to back. Well, no, we can.
I really against Burnley, I thought I'm going to see something here. I'm going to see something, and I did see something. I saw Burnley absolutely annihilate us. And it's just getting to the point where it's heartbreaking now.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at Burnley, you know, they were in terrible problem for a fair while. I mean, but therefore,
who did they beat to then start picking up again?
They played us, didn't they? 1-1.
Yeah.
You know, and they've done the double over us. And normally it's them that struggle against us, and for some reason it's flipped on its head.
We don't input fear into any other teams now. We don't. Long gone was that badge that we used to have being Liverpool's bogey team. Stuff like that. That's long gone.
I'm just struggling for
we just don't have that fear factor anymore. And all the time we don't have that fear factor into other teams. Teams are just going to come up against us and just absolutely just pummel us. Just going to think, do you know what? That's how we're going to play. That's how you play against Palace now.
But also the other weird thing that I'm finding, our boys, I don't know about you, but I think I've seen a lot of people say it, but when you lose 7-0 to Liverpool and you lose 3-0 to Burnley and you get smashed 4-0 by Man City and you lose 2-0 and the scoreline should have been a lot more against Leeds, and you lose against West Ham and they could have had a hell of a lot more. I haven't seen a response from the players. I haven't seen anyone stand up and say, right, it's us that's doing this. There's no kind of collective sort of approach from the team and the players to say, right, we need to prove that we can do this. We need to prove that we can be different. It's just the same stuff every game at the moment. And it's just like, you know, you can't win. You can't even win games if the approach is that you just accept the inevitable.
And I'm also sick and tired of seeing. Sorry, Ben. I'm sorry to cut you in. I'm also sick and tired of seeing these tweets from players go through the Palace channel saying, "No, we got to look at ourselves. We've got to sort out for next." That's every game. We might just copy and paste that tweet every single game.
Well, it's like the videos now when they come out and go, "Oh, we know that wasn't our standard. We know it's not good enough." Yeah, but you say that every week, mate. You can't work an employer and be really bad at your job. You'll get the sack. And
then halfway through the week, they post pictures and clips of training. Why?
It's like,
well, we scored a goal at training. It's a shame that don't count. The goals are 4.
Yeah, it's like that Mateta when he joined. He was bagging goals, and some of them looked pretty decent. Yeah. And then they put him on. It's like the Sorloth thing again, to be honest. I just don't see the point of even playing him. We're not creating any chances. You're going to kill the geezer's confidence.
Yeah,
he's probably a decent guy, but we're not creating enough. If we're only creating 3 chances in 90 minutes, no, it's not. I think Sergio Aguero's return wouldn't be that great on 3 chances.
Even if he was injured.
Problem you've got, right, is that guy's come from Mainz, right? He scored 10 goals in 17 games. His confidence is at an all-time high. And if you look at what he's come over and he's sat out the first 270 minutes, didn't even get a minute to prove anything. He's then been given a game to play, and he played for 60 minutes, but he literally had no support whatsoever. And he was told to do exactly the same as Batshuayi, just drift across like that. And then he's come on at the weekend against Burnley, and he's been given 16 minutes. And he must be sitting there looking, well, I've got 14 games to prove myself. I need to score some goals. I'm not getting any service. What possible chance have I got of a next move?
Not even Messi score for Palace at the moment.
But what is it? What is stopping us creating any creativity? What are we just so defensive blinded that's all we think about? Or I don't. How do we change it? How do we?
It's exactly how Roy sets up for every game. Defensively, aiming not to lose by 2 goals.
I mean, for us, I reckon we should be averaging 6 shots on goal. Is that unfair to say? We're not doing half of that in a game.
We're lucky to even get 1 shot on target sometimes.
So something's drastically not right. If you're before we were averaging, all right, the last 2 games it was 3. Before that it was 2. So a shot a half. It's like, come on, boys, what's going on?
Has he lost the dressing room and the players don't want to play?
Well, I mean, we're just about to come up to the most important game in the season for us. I mean, obviously, when we play Brighton, it's an important game and it means a lot to the fans. I'm not sure how we're going to line up. I'm not sure who's going to be available even.
Steve might as well line up on the goal line for 90 minutes.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, I think we do need to, we just need to play the counter and consistently all game, and put the problem back into their court rather than just sitting back and allow them, because they will run us ragged. Because I know a lot of Brighton fans have sort of bemoaned Potter and his style and no output, but that. They can't help the fact that type of football gets and creates the chances, but no one can finish them.
They play better football than us.
Well, look at what they've beaten Liverpool, they've beaten Spurs, they've beaten Leeds. You know, they're I think they're 3rd or 4th in the form table at the moment.
Jesus Christ!
I reckon they'll do us 2-0.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I think
2-2.
I just.
I can't believe we're saying this. We actually are saying this at the end of this podcast, thinking we're setting up for the 2-0 loss against Brighton.
It's like Paris is trying to flog a dead horse at the minute.
A dead horse that's gone long-term comatose.
Paris does need to take a step up a bit. And really sort of, guys, he needs to say to the team, he needs to come down and say, guys, you're going to have to step this up. I want to see more passion. I want to see more effort. Because if Hodgson hasn't got the ability to do that, then
why did he come
take
down
the ball by its horns.
Guys, have a fucking go. Sorry.
He did do that, though, didn't he? He did that one season. He went down and he had a go at the players. I'm sure he did.
We should do it every game.
I'm sure Parish, one of the seasons, it might have even... Can't have been last season. Might have been the season before. He came down and he talked to all the players. I just think that needs to happen again. Something he's there sat with. How was Bright not looking at him, going, "Come on, mate. What's this? What are we watching here?"
Yeah. Wait, when are you gonna?
This ain't like this is anything but Crystal Palace's team.
And the thing is, I'm not trying to dig him out. I'm not questioning his how much of a fan he is of this club, like he says he is. But if he was a fan, do something about it. We're all sitting here saying the same thing, arguing about the same points. But if he was such a fan as he makes out he is, do what all the fans are saying and fucking quite bad bollocks. Guy.
Well, if you're a fan of the club and you own the club, surely you've got to be horrified by what you're seeing on the pitch.
Exactly. But I was thinking earlier, if we were sat in a championship, I don't even think we'd be mid-table. It's a difference
No.
between looking at a team on a piece of paper to how we're performing. You can't tell if we can't
Such contrast.
create, we can't create a decent chance against Burnley.
Yeah.
It's just. I just
What
want
I
to
find
see
weird. What I find weird. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of disgruntled fans. There's a lot of people sort of got a lot of enthusiasm and passion about how poorly we are at the moment. But if you look at a club like Peterborough and their man and their owner, I can't remember his name, Darren something, I think it is. He engages with the fans. He speaks to the fans, whether it's good or whether it's bad. He at least will come out with communications to them.
I bet he doesn't tweet, but just when we win, does he?
Well, I mean, the weird thing is that's all we see from Pash. There's no engagement. There's no sort of like, guys, we're hurting really bad. It's not what we want to see. We're going to do our best. We're going to do this. You see nothing from him. There's nothing at all that comes back from the guy.
I'd just like to see a message saying, look, we all need to stick together here. I know we're going for a rush.
Just unite the whole fan base, because the whole fan base is absolutely bickering with each other. And we all know that Parish only tweets when we win. Just go against the grain. And because even if it's a little sentence, come on, guys, we know that something needs addressing, or just say something, even if it's one word up the palace or just something. We're not getting anything.
He needs to do something. Normally, the transfer window is his saving grace. We're doing terrible. Transfer window comes along. He gets a couple of whoppers in. We all get excited again. And for me, the excitement is completely dead at the minute. And I can't see it. I just feel like the wheels have come off.
Well, when you consider the fact that you can't even get a player like Damari Gray signing for you, and he was never going to sign, to be fair, because when you've got a team like Leverkusen, they're a Champions League, and they're going to give him a massive bonus because obviously he was going to be signing for pittance, effectively. Yeah. It's understandable why he went there, but you got to be frightened about the fact that a London club, 8 seasons in the Premier League, got players like Wilf, got players like those that sort of caliber, Eze, that you can't attract a player like Damari Gray. He hasn't played hardly anything for Leicester. That's even more. That's a real concerning thing.
That says everything about our recruitment, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but take the decision away from Leverkusen. If they've offered 2 million, offer 5. Go to Leverkusen, and Leverkusen like, right, we've got 5 million. Leicester, right, we've got 5 million for you. You're off the Palace. Take the decision away from them. Don't give them the decision. Give the same price. Go higher. We're desperate for wingers. Townsend's out of contract. He's going to be going. What we got?
The thing is, post-Brexit fuel must be expensive, though, right?
So Townsend's out of contract. Slop's injured. We're desperate for a winger. Damari Gray comes up for what? 1.5 million, and we go, no, you're all right. What?
Oh, I hate to see what Steve's like on eBay.
Thing is, if you look at it, boys, aside of Eze, okay, who have we really signed that's been quality?
Yeah.
We just our recruitment. I can't think of who was the last player prior to Eze that we signed that was decent.
Shit, put him on the spot.
Schlop?
Possibly.
Yeah.
But I thought Frank brought in some pretty decent players. But the fact that he got such limited time, you talk about, you can't come out and say you want to change your style and you want to play the youngsters, and you get a manager in that wants to do that. All right, it didn't work. It wasn't working. But you can't let him go and then let Hodgson have the run that he's had, and then not get rid of him. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
he tries out with players at every single end of the season. He's almost like he has that little post-match where he says, "Go on, Steve," in no certain terms, that he wants more money, more funds, more players.
If you watch the Hodgson interviews, I'll tell you, he's getting more and more wound up every time he gets asked questions.
It's subtle. He does it subtle in a subtle way. I get it.
He's getting very, very angry. But I think he's lost the dressing room, like Mourinho. When Mourinho loses a team, I just feel like we're there at the minute. It's just like no one's got the. I think Wilf in the changing room is a big voice to people. He's one of the guys that would dig people out and go, "Come on, what?" And I just don't feel like we have that when he's not in the team. And we sort of come out for the second half and plod along.
But isn't that the role of the captain?
Yeah. But Gyro did say when he played with Luca that Luca's always talking to him. So what do you believe?
It doesn't do it. No, you need to do it. You need to do it where it's shown.
Yeah, I think we said before that between the pair of them, one of them's got to go forward and one of them's got to stay back, and that's just really not happening. Like you see Luca drop into the back four to pick the ball up. It's like people are desperate to get on the ball, but they seem to get the ball, and you see them, they get the ball, they look up, and then they just wave their arms in the air to say, "Well, where's my pass then, boys? Where's your movement?"
But to be honest, I look at it this way: on and off the ball, we're very static. Very static. We're too static. When it's easy to defend against, all you can do is be in your face at a static player.
I mean, even Eze, I think Eze tried to run against Burnley and got tackled. And it's like, I'd love to see you do that 10 times. And I don't care if you get tackled 7 times. Just keep trying to do something. Just
that's it, Ben. You've nailed it. That has to be the disposition is stop trying to defend. And I know a lot of people sort of questioned, and opposing fans have questioned his ability to track back and stuff. Don't need him doing that.
Yeah,
we need him up there, running at the opposing team, not coming back. That takes him out of the game. It's pointless, and it's a very simple thing to do from that perspective.
That's how teams up against us.
Yeah, do you know? I might be completely wrong, but I've just got an inkling that Parish has gone to Hodgson and said to him about playing Eze in the middle. Because it just seems so out of character. Because when we did that, Hodgson was like, "Oh, I just felt like we were going to concede every time in that formation." Like he didn't have any confidence in playing that system at all. It's either 4-4-2 or nah, you're all right.
Or a 4-3-1, yeah.
And it's just, you've got to, at the minute, honestly, you just got to keep twisting. Because the results can't get any worse, can they, really? I mean, if he changes, people are asking for a change, and he has made changes, but he's got to just keep going with it, because if he's not going to get sacked, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen, he's got to keep changing it. Because I feel like we're in Groundhog Day. Every week it's like Palace playing, oh, we're going to lose, oh, we lost.
It's that uninspiring to the point that obviously fans are allowed back in. I'm concerned about my mindset about actually going. Do I really want to be going to watch that? The atmosphere is going to be toxic.
Yeah,
it's just going to be horrible to be there. And do I really want to put myself through that?
Well, Steve,
I'm not sure.
It might even be a blessing that the fans are not allowed back to being a Palace.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you: if the fans were back and it was a packed out stadium, would have Hodgson got the sack by now?
Yeah, he would have got absolutely hounded. No.
Do you remember that? I was talking to a power by not long ago about the kiddie that offered Delaney out. I don't know who we played, but this kiddie was so disgusted that he fronted Delaney and he was shouting at him. And I'm not condoning that, but I'm telling you what, there wouldn't be nice words as them players walked off down that tunnel.
Yeah. They would have got booed. They would have definitely got booed.
Yeah, but I'm going to end the show, because we're coming towards the end of the time. What do we think the results scoreline is going to be against Brighton, boys? Alex?
2-0 loss.
Ben?
2-0.
Yeah, I think it's a mass agreement on the same scoreline. I think we're going to get done 2-0, sadly. But we can hope and we can pray that that's the opposite, and we get to rejoice and rinse the Brighton fans on Twitter. That would be brilliant if we can. But boys, I'm going to end the show now. So thanks for your time tonight. You've been listening to Eagles on Air through the Sportanarium stream. Feel free to tune in next time, guys.
Thank you.
Take care, boys.
Take care.